He is one of the most recognizable faces in American entertainment, a man whose laughter has become a daily ritual for millions. But behind that confident grin lies a story of struggle, resilience, and transformation. Before the stages, arenas, and television studios, there was a boy who cried himself to sleep inside a car, a boy whose voice was trapped by fear and stutter, yet whose mind raced with jokes and ideas. This is not only the story of a comedian, it is the story of a man who turned pain into performance, built an empire from nothing, and learned that success is often paid for in loneliness, sacrifice, and moments unseen. To truly understand his journey, we must go back to the boy who dared to dream, even when the world mocked him. A childhood in coal country Welch, West Virginia, was a small town carved into the mountains, where poverty was a constant companion and opportunity was rare. Steve Harvey grew up in a home filled with contrasts. His father, Jesse Harvey, a miner, taught lessons of endurance and discipline, showing that work was not a choice, but a necessity. Jesse earned barely $5 a day, yet instilled in Steve the value of perseverance. At the same time, his mother, Eloise Harvey, a Sunday school teacher, offered love, warmth, and faith, teaching her son to pray and hold on to hope when all else seemed lost. Outside the home, life was merciless. Children could be cruel, and Steve's stutter made him an easy target. His early environment demanded both observation and resilience, skills that would later become the foundation of his comedic genius. A stutter that shaped him. Steve Harvey was born with a severe stutter that made speaking a daily challenge. Every word, every sentence was a struggle. Greetings, class roll calls, even small conversations could feel impossible. The stutter forced Steve into silence, transforming him into an observer of the world rather than an active participant. He learned to read faces, body language, and subtle human cues, noticing what people truly felt even when they didn't say it. These observational skills became invaluable in his comedy later, but as a child, the stutter was a source of torment. Teased relentlessly by classmates, he carried the weight of humiliation, internalizing the pain. This early experience taught him the harsh truth that the world can be cruel, and that sometimes silence is both protection and prison. The dream that was mocked. In 6th grade, Steve was asked to write what he wanted to be when he grew up. While most of his classmates listed conventional careers, police officer, farmer, teacher, Steve wrote, "I want to be on TV." Instead of encouragement, he faced ridicule. His teacher mocked his ambition, his background, and even his stutter, and the class erupted in laughter. That public humiliation could have crushed him, but it didn't. He brought the paper home to his father, who didn't dismiss the dream. Jesse Harvey told his son to keep it, to look at it daily, as a reminder that no one else could define his future. That single piece of paper became a talisman, a quiet source of hope, and a reminder that the boy from West Virginia could claim his destiny if he refused to surrender to shame. The forward tempo years, the early years in comedy were brutal. Shows were poorly paid and bills piled up. Arguments with his wife over finances eventually led to separation, leaving Steve alone. Homelessness came not suddenly but gradually, first through motel rooms, then nights in his 1976 Ford Tempo. That car became his bedroom, kitchen, and closet. Survival required routines, a cooler for food, gas station bathrooms for hygiene, and a suit worn nightly to appear successful. He performed for strangers who laughed at his jokes, never knowing that he returned to a car that offered no warmth or safety. Those years were defined by hunger, humiliation, and the quiet determination to survive. Each day in that small vehicle hardened him, sharpened his instincts and reinforced the singular lesson. To reach the light, he had to endure the darkness. The lowest moment, one night in Florida, stands out as his deepest humiliation. Exhausted, hungry, and desperate, Steve gave a flawless performance only to be told, "Come back next week," instead of receiving payment. He walked to his car, sat down, and cried so violently that he could hardly breathe. Yet in that moment of despair, he prayed, pleading for guidance and strength. The temptation to quit was overwhelming. He could return to a factory job and abandon the dream, but something inside him refused. Perhaps it was his father's iron will, or the paper in the drawer, or the fact that he had already lost too much to stop now. That night became a turning point. The boy who had once cried in silence inside a car learned that the path forward was not to surrender. It was to persist against all odds. The Apollo Theatre, a breakthrough. In 1989, Steve received a call about hosting a show at the legendary Apollo Theatre in New York City. Without money for a plane ticket, he borrowed what he needed and made the trip. The Apollo was unforgiving. Performers who failed were booed off stage. But Steve not only survived, he dominated. He mastered hecklers, commanded the crowd, and proved that his pain had forged resilience. Winning the hosting role transformed his career. The forward tempo years became a distant memory. For the first time, Steve had money, respect, and a stage that matched his ambition. The Apollo was not just a theatre, it was a proving ground where he converted years of struggle into performance, turning every humiliation into a tool for triumph. Reinventing comedy. In 1996, Steve starred in his own sitcom for 6 seasons, delivering authentic humour that resonated with millions. Yet he wasn't content to stay within traditional boundaries. In 1997, he joined forces with D.L. Hewley and Bernie Mac to create the Kings of Comedy Tour, an audacious move that transformed stand-up into a cultural phenomenon. What promoters initially doubted became the highest-grossing comedy tour in history. The tour was more than jokes. It was an event, a celebration of resilience and a connection with audiences on a grand scale. Steve emerged as the glue of the tour, blending humor with authority, transforming personal struggle into shared experience, and proving that comedy could reach audiences far beyond the confines of clubs and theaters. The fight to stay relevant. The early 2000s tested Steve's career. The sitcom ended and the Kings of Comedy Tour slowed. Hollywood still saw him as a niche performer. Many would have considered this a decline, but Steve instinctively pivoted. Recognizing that stand-up had limitations, he embraced radio, where he could be unfiltered, personal, and impactful. Through a morning show, he began giving advice on relationships, faith, and struggle. He expanded his reach beyond laughter, speaking to lives, hopes, and challenges. This period reinforced a central lesson. Success requires adaptation. By listening, observing, and evolving, Steve ensured that his career not only survived transitions but grew into a multi-platform empire. An empire built on persistence. Steve Harvey's journey from a stuttering boy in West Virginia to a global icon is not a story of luck. It is a story of refusal. He refused to let ridicule define him, poverty erase him, or humiliation stop him. From nights in a car to sold-out arenas, from unpaid gigs to billion-dollar branding, Steve learned that dreams demand courage, resilience, and sacrifice. The boy who once wrote, "I want to be on TV," never stopped believing. He endured the darkest moments, adapted to changing circumstances, and transformed personal pain into inspiration for millions. Steve's life proves that success is forged in struggle, perseverance, and unwavering faith in oneself. Through darkness and silence, he kept moving, finally emerging into the light he had envisioned as a child.